It's a budget that changes very little. We go on with very low growth. We go on borrowing £100 billion a year more than we're earning, adding 10% per annum to our national debt. And whilst there were one or two quite nice eye-catching measures in the budget designed for the headline writers, like a penny off a pint of beer, in reality, very little has changed at all. And by any measure, this government is failing on its key objectives.
But also a lot of help for business, and also particularly small businesses, and a lot of help for people trying to get on the housing ladder.
Well, the help for businesses is of course welcome, and the raising of the thresholds for employers' national insurance is welcome. But there's so many other things that business is suffering from. An excessive employment regulation coming to us from Brussels, massively increased energy costs because of our renewable energy programme. You know, whilst he's helped business a bit, he hasn't helped it enough in this budget to really get growth going. Now, the plan to invest billions in a new house building and house buying programme, well, in some ways we need that, because don't forget that immigration into Britain is still running at several 100,000 people a year. But it's also rather dangerous when governments get involved in big projects like this, dependent upon what the price of housing stock is. There's quite a big risk too.
Because it's essentially the government getting involved in the mortgage market, isn't it?
It is the government getting involved in the mortgage market, and it's a very unconservative thing to do in many ways, and it does bring with it, enormous risk. So I'm not too sanguine about government directly involving itself in the marketplace.
And what would you have liked to have seen in the budget then?
Today was the day for a shock and awe budget that did something to really get growth moving in this country. I'd love to have seen government spending really seriously cut back, and at the same time some radical tax cuts to put money in people's pockets and to get some spending happening on our high streets and in the real economy. And frankly, we saw neither of those two things.